What's up, fam? My name is Matthew, aka EZBOT, and we're back with another episode, another live stream. And today we're going to take a look at a eurorack module called Pseudos. This is a Turing machine. It's like a melody generator, and what I really like about it is just how incredibly easy it is to use. There's quite a bit that it can do, and it even can be used as a voice if you don't have other oscillators in your eurorack sequencer, but I like using my other voices because I have some cool voices that I can use. But that's what we're going to check out today. We're going to just generate some melodies, probably sample them into the Dig Attack 2 at some point, and that's kind of the idea. I just want to show off this eurorack module because I think it's really fun, and just the idea of having multiple sequencers in your eurorack case. It's a little bit of the discussion today as well. Just so you can quickly see it, this is the module I'm talking about. This is Pseudos by Raw Yaw Media, and this happens to be a friend of mine and somebody who I've been working with to develop my own eurorack modules, and we've pretty much completed it. And so soon I will have my own module out, and but this is the person I work with, and he makes cool stuff. It's very cool stuff. So we're going to dive a little bit further into it, but I want to have a little bit more of a discussion before we do that. I want to discuss having multiple sequencers in your case. So once we get through that discussion, then we'll dive into playing with this module. It's really, really simple, so it won't take me long to explain. It's more like, why would you have something like this in your case, and what are you going to do with it? So that, I think, is a really cool discussion and an interesting topic, having multiple sequencers. Why would you have a Turing machine in your case? This is something that's this kind of sequencing, Turing sequencing, which is this like random generated melody stuff with quantizer. So it's a Turing machine with a quantizer in it, so you can stay within a key and adjust how many notes and the octaves that it plays and all that kind of the speed at which it plays. You know, all really basic, good stuff for generating melodies with hands-on control. There's a lot of modules out that do similar things to this. I happen to like this one because it's so simple for me to understand, and it was explained to me so well that, and I'm going to explain it to you, and it just became my favorite little sequencer to sit in my eurorack case along with my more robust sequencer. If we were to look down, if I was to pull the camera out, you would see like a Hermod Plus down here, and plus the expander, and that's about as complex as sequencers get, I would say. Hermod Plus does literally everything. You know, it can even do some of this Turing style generative sequencing, but it's not fun. It's not fun to program that kind of stuff. This is fun to explore. So I think kind of the conversation that I wanted to have about this was, you have a sequencer like this that lets you just kind of explore and stay within the pocket of a nice zone of melodic stuff. This is really good for melodies, that's what I would say. And then you can have your more robust intentional sequencer, and you pair them, and then this one can be your performative sequencer, and then your main robust sequencer can program everything else, where it's like, this is how things are supposed to be, and I expect things to line up this way. And this one will let me explore and generate new melodies live, which makes a show go a lot longer and gives you a lot more leverage in your case. So let me make it so you can hear this really quickly. I have it running into the gate output, running into this mute module called Mute Performer. This is something that we'll check out at some point too. So I actually have a physical mute. It's a mute module. We'll zoom out in a minute. That lets you control mutes in your eurorack case, much like Electron does, with like queuing up mutes, all sorts of cool stuff. So this is the module. I'm gonna have my clock run real quick. Okay, hopefully you can hear this well. This is running into the Monumatic. I have 2 Monumatics in my case, and honestly, I would have 3 if I had another one, but they're not cheap. They're very nice modules, and I'm gonna pull it out just a little bit. So you can see a little further into like the voices in the case here as well. Okay, so when I stop the clock on my Dig Attack, it'll stop the clock on my Pseudos because I'm borrowing clock from my Electron gear over to my eurorack system. This is how I work. typically move away from my main setup. My main setup is Electron and M8 Tracker and TR1000 eventually, once I feel like I've fully mastered it, because I really like that thing a lot. But I integrate eurorack stuff into my setups all the time, but it's all about how do you integrate your eurorack system into your setup, because it can be so frustrating, it can be so difficult. Stuff like this where you're going to use a generative sequencer. Let's let it run again. I have that hat just keeping time for us. Stuff like this, I can just find little sweet spots. And this sequences within modes, which is really cool. So if you're into theory, you can kind of like know what's happening under the hood if you're familiar with that. Otherwise, you can kind of just jump through the different modes and see which ones you like the most. Right now I'm offsetting what the random voltage is doing, and it doesn't sound very random. It is repeating a line within a mode. And I can increase how many notes or how far up and down it goes by adjusting the random. This will give me a higher range of notes. This offsets the actual notes themselves. And then the quantization setting is actually going to add more discordant notes, or just add more notes in general to the amount of notes you can pick. If I bring this all the way down, we'll just get to one note. So we're just getting octaves. I turn this up and it starts giving me more of my mode. Look at this nice minor chord. What is so sick? Okay, these modules are so good. These Monumatics, they're really good modules. I really like them a lot. Honestly, if I could just do away with CV entirely and everything was just MIDI, that's what I would do. That's my dream. Get rid of CV and we just switch to, as frustrating as MIDI is, just having the ability to, send like chords or send multiple values over one cable. Man, that would be pretty sick. But these have great MIDI implementation and I just love that. So one of the things I really like about modules like the Monumatic, this is a true polyphonic synthesizer. And even though I'm sending single notes to the Monumatic, what it's going to sound like when I have it in poly mode, which it is currently in, and we turn up the release on here, is beautiful. And this stays within these perfect little nooks of melodies. I can find these sweet spots so easily. Sending it over to a module that's polyphonic, these notes will cascade over each other, and it sounds golden. Check this out. Right now I'm turning up the skip. So we're getting more skipped notes. Turn it up really high. If you go too high, it goes to just absolute silence. I just decided to throw a little kick drum behind it. I kind of like it with just the hi-hat though. Such a neat sound. So let me just talk about what's going on in this with this panel really quick, so you understand what I'm doing when I'm pressing these buttons. Okay, so offset is gonna like generally offset this like voltage that's being used to drive the Turing machine. So it's just the voltage that is going to get quantized and then get sent out to whatever modules you're sending it out to. So this is going to give us like adjust the range. So when this is playing, I can bring the range up and it will like not go low anymore. And then the random is going to choose like basically how high up within the range we can cruise around. And then quant is going to choose how many notes within our mode that it picks from. And then we have the 7 different modes. So it's like Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Mixolydian, Lydian. Those are the modes you choose here. And then we also have step amounts. So you can pick step amounts and also your modes. Get out of here with that. There we go. So the first button will give you 2, and then this will give you 3, and then 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. And then you can stack them together by pressing the 2 buttons at the same time. Let me see. There we go. So right now we only have a 2-note sequence. I can make it a 5-note sequence. And I can make it a longer sequence by stacking these together. You can build out these different short sequences and then you can offset them. This might sound cool with a kick. Basically, there's so much territory that it can cover that you can do these cool little leads with it, or you can use it to generate bass lines, or you can just use it to make a bunch of cascading melodies. What I really like doing with it is using it to just make these beautiful melodic mush, because that's what I really like doing in eurorack often, is just finding stuff that I wouldn't find in my Electron gear or my M8, which is stuff that's very much on rails. Like there's all sorts of tricks to get like probability and some interesting ideas, but nothing that really generates melodic stuff quite like a Turing machine would. So I'm gonna unplug this clock right now so that we're not stuck at 120 or whatever the Electron stuff is going, and just let its clock do its thing. And bring this down. There's an infinity button here, and this will take you, make your sequences go just forever. So you just constantly get random stuff. And this is honestly where I really like to play with it. It's just 3 modules, essentially. I mean, we've got a couple more plugged in here, but honestly, this is doing all the work. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, you can CV the rate, I believe. Well, you have a clock input, so you can just send it some crazy stuff. It's like the original Tron soundtrack over here. There's just been a couple of moments in here that are so pretty or so unique sounding, like the melody that it generated I just would never come up with. That's what I love about Turing machine type modules. It's like really emotional, the current mode we're in, with this like really cinematic patch. Effects Aid, these are great modules. I own 3 of them. They're just so useful. Turning up some delay in my mixer, which you can't see, sadly. Yeah, Allotrope by JK. And if you want, you can change your mode by holding Shift and then selecting what mode we're in. We're in Dorian at the moment. We can go down here. This is going to give us some completely new notes. Here our mode change starting to come into effect. Super cool. So cinematic. Just perfect. And I can mute it with my mute module, which is cool. Tic-tac mutes. Woof. bass note is just ringing out. Is it gonna ring out forever? Is that what's going on here? Cool. So I've muted its gate path right now, so it's running through the mute performer. Which I can scoot over, I guess, a little bit. So you can see that too. Or no, I'll lock that in. There we go. It's pretty cool. Just cinema. Absolute cinema. There's more controls that you can do with it. Really what I wanted to show off is just how great it is to add modules like this to your eurorack case, and how hard it has been for me to wrap my head around how important it is to play with the obscurity and the randomness and the strangeness of sequencers in my eurorack system, and instead of trying to emulate what I've already done, what I already do, what I'm already good at, which is programming. That's what I think I'm good at. I'm good at programming XOX style sequencers like Electron or trackers. They're all kind of the same thing. You pick a value, you pick a bunch of different values, you lock it into a step, maybe you give it some probability or something like that. But otherwise, it's really just about how good are you able to take your thoughts and translate them into a spreadsheet of some sort, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Modules like Pseudos by Raw Yaw and other Turing machines, but this one in particular, I happens to be the one that I like, changes the mood and the atmosphere of your exploration so deeply in such a strange fashion. I kind of wish that it had MIDI out, which would be really cool if I could send MIDI from it over to my Digatone. And I know that there's modules that can absolutely translate CV and gate over to MIDI, but I like this style of sequencing, and I haven't been using it enough. And once I got my hands on this one, I put it in my case, and now it's kind of going to be a fixture at the top of the case. I have my Turing machine, my random melody generator, and I can plug it into other modules in the case whenever I need to, and then do my more classic XOX style sequencing from another module. Because the module is not large, it basically is like what you would consider a modulation module. It's about that size. And Turing machines are typically small modules or smaller modules, and they, do this action. But for it to have the quantization features that are built into it and how easy it is to offset things and change the amount of notes that it sequences, that's the superpower that I think that this module offers. And that's what you want to look for, I would say. So if you were looking to get yourself some sort of Turing machine, I would want one that comes with quantization features and scale features and some sort of, the probabilistic part of it will already be included, but for it to have quantization built in. Otherwise, you can use it for a gate sequencer, just random voltage. Sure, that's totally useful too. And then buy your quantizer of choice. But when it actually has all that into it and the quantizer, that's pretty cool. What is cool and strange, and I don't really have the setup for it in this current case, is looking at this module that has an oscillator output, and what happens with the oscillator, and I love this idea, and I'm glad that this is what they decided to do when they added this oscillator out, is that every time a gate changes, we can listen to it. Every time a gate changes, it uses a different waveform. So it just picks different waveforms with new notes. So you just constantly get these new sounding notes as well. Let's see. I just plug it into 3. Will that work? Woo! That is super loud. Let's bring that sucker down, huh? Way down. I plugged it into 4. There we go. Hear that? It's like a triangle, then a saw, then a square, then a sine. You could use this, like if you patch that into some sort of module that you could use to shape this pitch a little bit further, like a wave folder, of course some other filters and stuff like that. But that's what it does, so it has this extra function. Plus 24 dB, you like that? There we go. It's an idea, right? It's just good. It's nice to have, I suppose. I mean, I much prefer to sequence like my favorite modules, which happens to be a little polysynth in eurorack format right now. That's why I have 2 of them. And I would get 3. I really would. Let's see, let's go back to... Dude, this is still... This reverb from the FX aid was just going that whole time. Like, it's just... It is monstrous reverb. There's also like glide and or slide and whatever you want to think of it as on here as well. There's a shift function for every single knob on here. But I really just want to play with it. You can choose your root note too, just so you understand that you can do that with this. It's not just picking modes, you can also get your root note. If you hold shift and then use the offset knob, you can go from C to B. So all the sharps in between there as well. If I turn this up really high, we're gonna get a lot more high notes in here. E Phrygian, B Locrian. Yeah, this is perfect for some... This is like a drum and bass beast. For real, like we just throw a breakbeat behind this with these notes overlapping on top of each other. If you turn skip all the way down, it's just gonna keep spitting notes out. Cheers. Piece of cake. What is happening? I feel like this is like writing the most beautiful music for me right now. I don't have to do anything. Alan Turing, thanks, buddy. I really want some vibrato. Not easy to do on the Monumatic. You can do it over MIDI pretty easily, honestly, and I think that that works really well. Dig Attack 2 drums in there. What I really like to do in situations like this with sounds like this is take them and patch them into something like Overseer, which is a stereo filter with tilt, and I like to use this at the end of chain, or at the middle end of chain, so it goes like huge effects run into a stereo filter, and then I can filter the huge effects, and then I add another delay and reverb after that, so that I can get this this in-between smushing of sounds, so to speak, and create these ambient walls. I think what would be really nice too would be to send this into my Electron box, which I can, and I should, and then to duck this on the kick would just sound monstrous. Allotrope IGK. I really like Turing machines because I prepare no melodies for live shows and then hear the music on the fly just like the audience. That can be both a good and a bad thing, for sure. In this particular case, it would be a very good thing. Switch to new modes. Now we're gonna start getting some different notes. So that's kind of cool. So you could play a show and just play the different modes as your show. Of course you can offset the root node, like I said, holding shift and turning the offset knob, but we don't need to do that. So it's not gonna change anything for us. We don't have any other music playing with it. Oof. Mute it for a sec. I'm gonna switch this thing up to make some plucks. Let's get plucky. And let's go fast. No skip. Put this in mono mode. We can leave the infinity mode and just... So it's, like I said, you can add these together to make longer sequences. Here's a 16-note sequence. Whoa. That's cool. Oh, a knob that does this, that. That would be cool. Let's turn this all the way up. Go to infinity. I guess I could use CV to do that. That's kind of the whole point, right? super fun to explore. I feel like you can just do this for hours and hopefully just find a melody that really catches your attention and sample it. Let's see if I got this all running into my dig attack real quick. I surely do. Yeah, it almost sounded classical for sure. All right, let's punch this thing up. Get this sucker in the zone. Auto zone. Don't need this anymore. All right. This is the whole rig. So I really wanted to like just show that module off at the beginning and what I'll be using. But this is the Goliath setup. This is where all the golden nuggets get stored for sampling joy and joyness. Catabatic, what up? Make sure this is all locked in. Looking sharp. Maybe we do put this little light over here. Help us see Pseudos a little better. Because that's our homie today. All right. All right, we're once again going to use the clock from the dig attack to control the clock here. Now we'll run that. I actually don't need to use the mute performer at the moment because it automatically just does what it's supposed to do. So like it'll run when it needs to run. As you were, thank you for the wonderful tip. Just some motivation and encouragement. You put so much time into your channel and you always inspire me. Thanks, thank you. That's what I mean, thanks for the money too. That's always dope, but honestly, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I really do put a lot of time and energy into this, and I try and have something to share every week with everybody. I love the community. I really do. And I love doing this. It's my favorite thing to do. I love sharing stuff with people. Cool. So let me explain what's going on here. I feel like Chris Farley. Wish that guy was still around. I have the clock coming from my dig attack. This runs my whole rig. It's being passed around to these other boxes. Digatone 2. Best synthesizer ever. I also, by the way, have a nice long 5 insane patches tutorial video that's coming out that's taking me forever to edit because it's just 2 hours of content being chopped down. But it's going to show you how to make these really dirty sounds on the Digatone. That'll be coming out soon this week. The clock is coming out. It's going into the Hermod, and I'm actually using a track on the Hermod as a clock divider because I didn't want this to get the full clock. I wanted it to get just half the clock. So you can do clocks on here, but clock division's a little different. So I'm just using a gate as a clock. And I'm going to set this up to be in like the prettiest zone possible, and then we're going to sample it into the dig attack. So let me find a sweet spot. We had a couple before where I was like, I should have just sampled them then. Let's see. We'll choose Dorian, and we'll do a 16-step sequence. Yeah, that's what I set it up as. And we'll get, keep it a little bit. Just have it do all the notes at once now. Let's see. Let's get these effects turned off for now. Pretty cool. Whoa. I bet that would sound really cool with the dig attacks reverb. Or delay. Yeah, so we have a nice clocked delay because we're getting the clock from the dig attack. switched modes. I'm trying to find something I really like. What kind of drums would I want to program with something like this? Maybe we'd have to go like really fast. Maybe we like chop a break or something? So it's like it's made a melody it is repeating that melody. You can have it grab a new melody by using the infinity knob and then going back, and it will just like completely reset it. Try another mode. I feel like that's a pretty good spot. What I just did is I removed one of the rows. I basically divided the clock in half again. So we're at 180 BPM over here, and I'm just sending so much, you know, it's going very quickly. This is a clock multiplier when the clock CV is plugged in to the CV or the clock jack here. So like I can speed things up, but I can't slow it down, so I have to divide before it goes here. If I bring the RAN down, I can stick with the lower notes, which sounds really incredibly cinematic. What if we... Yeah, what have we got in here? A wavetable? Don't need that. Oops. Somewhere in here I have... Is it in here? Jungle to Jungle. Why is that in there? That's pretty cool. Did it say what the BPM was? No. Check break? Just check break. Okay. Thing about it, when you're doing breaks, it's always best to get them to the right BPM before you chop them. Like, that just makes it so much easier for you to chop up a break. So, typically to do that, you would go into a repitch machine and let's make sure that it's what track am I on? Oh, I want to do that actually on track 15. And put a trigger down here. Let's make this, I imagine, it's at least a bar long. Okay, it's 2 bars long, so I want this sequencer to be 2 pages long. So I'm going to set this to play for 32 steps. Cool. And then we're going to resample it. We're going to target that track, track 15. So we take track 15 and we set it to record start. That's cool. It only needs to be 32 steps long. Arm and go. Hey, wait a second. Why did that not play? Oops, it was muted. Let's do that again. Arm. Okay, cool. Now our drum break is at 180 BPM, so we save it. We'll say break 180. Oops. And we can replace it right on the track that it was already on. And then we switch to a slice machine. And this is the workflow, as far as I'm concerned. Create a slice grid, 16, sure. Yeah. Let's see how that turned out. Looks like maybe it didn't need as many slices as it has. It's like a little note in there. Whatever. Okay. Let's try putting some slices down. And we'll go yes, create random locks. Let's see what happens. Let's try and find a kick in there. On track 16, I'm going to turn this into a sidechain bus. Which I'm going to try and line up the sidechain on the same hits as the kick. but we're going to use this as that sidechain bus. So we'll go to compressor, move this, no makeup gain, mix. Apparently. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oops. There we go. We just need a kick drum. No matter what it sounds like. Go to the sidechain routing. Definitely not. We want the incoming audio. So now we're sidechaining this random melody that we're getting generated from the eurorack system. But we wanted to like line up on those kicks. So just for fun, what if let's remove this for a second and create like a more consistent kick pattern. What's on this? That works. Just take this pattern for now and so now we're sidechaining like a drum and bass pattern from this random melody. Nice. My God. Maybe not that bad. You know what actually would probably sound good? It would just be like a sine bass for this kind of pattern. Let's see, let's try. Yeah. in mono mode. It's hard for me to hear that note. Okay, now I'm going to create a sidechain bus over here so that we can keep these simple notes, but then add rhythm to it with the sidechain. So we're going to do the same kick pattern as what we had here. Yes, 1/7/15, and load up a kick drum, which we won't be able to hear. And it also doesn't matter if I can hear it or not. Well, let's just go to filter and go kick and just whatever. Yeah. Does bank B have more kicks or something? Well, anyway. Compressor. Source track 16. Bring this down. No makeup gain. Maximum setup. Compressor routing. So we can leave everything in except for that. Leave those in for now. That's some weird behavior. I definitely should not do that. Sounds like Digitone's tripping out. this pattern over. Actually kills it, if anything. Try unison. I guess I meant C. I am in C. I'm in C Ionian. Go to C Dorian. Here's C Dorian. nice spot. one note in there that's really pissing me off. I keep hearing it. I wonder how well can I set this up? We go C Dorian. That's kind of cool. What's that second chord? This one a little bit. Ooh. lot of fun to be had with. Portamento on could be cool. Oh, it is on. Get weird. Sponsor me. Super fun. I love that we really just went from playing with this module and the monumatic to making this like spaced out drum and bass track from scratch in how long? Let's see. A while. We're doing this for a while. Hour and a half. Not bad. There's a moment for me to say what's up to the chat. How's it going, folks? Thanks everybody for hanging out and checking this out. We're checking out this cool Turing machine module called Pseudos by Raw Yaw Media. It's a homie of mine, local here in Seattle, somebody who I'm collaborating with as well for another module. It's out now. You can check it out. You find it at places like Perfect Circuit and other eurorack stores. And pick one up and throw one in your case if you want to have some pretty controllable generative melodies, which I think sound really nice. I love pairing it with something like the Monumatic because I can do a polyphonic mode. Surface would be good for that too, if you're familiar with that module, or any module that'll let you overlap notes. With something like this, you can just generate these beautiful cascading. It just sounds like somebody's got the release on the piano pressed down and they're just going through beautiful scales. It's just a really nice experience, and you can sample it or just generate melodies live. Fun, for sure. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, was checking out the new Raw Yaw module, making something from scratch with the eurorack system. There's gonna be a bunch more eurorack stuff I'm gonna be doing over the next couple of weeks because I have some more modules that have come in. Another module to talk about is also this cool mute performer module, which basically takes like Electron style mutes and brings it into eurorack. Something I like. It also has MIDI. You can control it with your Electron stuff. I'm going to be using it to control the system. This is going to become a more techno styled system. I won't be doing as much pretty melody stuff with this, but this will stay in the case as it's going to work with one of the Monumatics, and another one's going to work with this sequencer, and then this will mostly just be drums. I may replace this with I have the stylophone stuff coming in. I just discovered the stylophone modules are Eurorack modules. So I'm going to put both the stylophone modules in here. One's a drone, which I love, and the other one's a cool filter. And I'm going to put them both in this system, maybe take this out and put them in, and or leave this. I don't know. I love my Labyrinth so much. It's such a good like Eurorack module, especially for like techno production. And this is basically a groove box that I can pair with my Electron system, but also to be used on its own, which is a fun exploration. This is something that we were talking about during I do these weekly meetups on my Patreon called Soundcheck, and we were having a cool conversation this week about groove boxes, or this week or last week, about building systems in modular. And what's so fun about modular itself isn't necessarily always the music that it generates. Something like painting your figurines, if you're a Warhammer player or something, or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. If you enjoy the process of building your system, that's what Eurorack is also for. It's not just about the music. It's about the system, building your system, enjoying that process, enjoying the process of patching your system and picking out what goes where in the system it goes. Even color coding stuff is an enjoyable experience in the Eurorack system, which is so different from working with groove boxes, and something that I've still enjoy today. And I've been doing Eurorack now for like 7 or 8 years, which is a long time, I think, to have invested that much time. I have quite a few modules in my studio now, but I think it's a really fun experience. And I think other people would agree that something that they really like about this is just finding cool and unique modules. And what's great about Eurorack too is that Eurorack developers don't need to deal with all of these powering issues that the government likes to control, right? Because there's, got to keep things safe. But because power is generated from the case itself, only the case developers really have to worry about that. So Eurorack manufacturers can just make modules and just spit them out. So we get these really cool ideas very quickly. So many new modules coming out. It's a dope thing. So I'm glad to have stuck with Eurorack as many times as I felt frustrated with it and wanted to get out of it sometimes, but then always being sucked back in. I'm glad that I never did get out of it, and I kept my modules, because the longer I stay with it, the more I tend to return to it and try new ideas. And I've found so many great things, and new modules come out like this one today. So be sure to check it out. It's a homie of mine. I think it's cool stuff, and you heard what it could do. It's rad. So check out Pseudos by Raw Yaw Media. My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT. Thank you everybody for hanging out and going through this exploration of this ambient exploration into this drum and bass thing with Electron, and just the sidechain experience. Hopefully that was maybe a tip that you didn't have before, and start programming your tunes this way. All right, everybody. I will see you either later this week for another stream. There's a video on sound design coming out on the Digatone very soon, so look forward to that. It's taking me forever to edit. And yeah, you're all great. Love you. And I'll see you soon.